Farmer to Farmer is a USAID-funded, NGO-run program around the world to work and train farmers building agricultural industries. I began doing pro bono consulting work for them several years ago in Africa. I built my own business a number of years ago. I'm an entrepreneur, and I go there to teach business skills. In November of last year, 2011, I was asked to go to Tanzania to work with a cooperative in southwestern Tanzania. In this very fertile region, they grow rice and maize, sorghum, sunflower seeds, and they are both farmers and traders, 60 men and 20 women, in the Mbonzo cooperative. Although I had 4 months really to prepare for this latest assignment in Tanzania, I really didn't know what I was going to teach until I got over there. I kind of thought I'd spend time interviewing people and talking to see what kinds of things they needed. I didn't have a lot of time to do that, but it became pretty evident what they really needed. And so we settled on the old 4 Ps of marketing. We did how you sell a product to a customer group, how you price it, what the product is, what place or how you distribute the product, and how you promote it. And we went through that structure in the classroom and applied it to their situations. We were really trying to encourage them to call directly on customer groups and not simply sit in the marketplace and sell their crops. The structure in the class that I used was a kind of a presentation, lecture kind of presentation of the concept, then some brainstorming about how to apply it. They broke into their small groups, did the work in small groups, and then came back and presented to the large group. And that's where all the learning took place. I consulted directly with some of the trader/farmers who were a little further along in the value chain there. For instance, there was one fellow who was buying and selling sorghum to a local brewery, and we talked about his expanding to other breweries. Everybody drinks beer in Tanzania. Another was rice. There were several people that were buying and selling rice who had bought huge milling machines and were doing that near the marketplace, and then taking it to further away markets in other countries even. And then there's a third area with sunflower seeds, where a couple of these people were refining and processing sunflowers and making it into the oil. And the farmers were actually selling right from the front of their stores. So this is a good example of how we were distributing and moving up the value chain and reaching their customer groups. Since these are small, hands-on business people, basically, we really didn't really do anything theoretical. We built really simple P&Ls where they gathered their expenses. We pulled out all the expenses, and then we talked about what they were selling these crops for. And one really important thing that I emphasized was this idea of everything needing to be translated into shillings per kilogram, whether it was an expense or a revenue. It always had to be converted into that. And by doing that, we were able to measure profitability of selling different crops into different markets and do comparisons. And that led us to the ability to compare gross profit and return on sales, which is a very powerful concept for them. One fun activity that we did in the session was the left brain, right brain exercise, where everybody in Tanzania has a radio, and buying airtime is pretty cheap. So this was actually a great way to promote their businesses in the market. So we created radio ads, from creating storyboards to actually rehearsing and presenting the radio ads to the class. And this was great fun for them. We talked about the idea of left brain, right brain. In business, you need the left brain sort of methodical, critical thinking skills, but you also need this right brain creative, visual storyboard creating side. And in order to really build a successful business, you had to have both of those. These kinds of powerful concepts really are global business principles, and that's really what came home for me in this project, is that these principles are the same no matter where you are, in the US or if you're in Africa in the middle of Tanzania.